Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about one of the blessings of the new year, 1883. When Yellowstone said goodbye to us in the first week of 2022, we couldn't believe that we welcomed the new year while having farewells with our favorite show. It was a bittersweet moment during which we forgot for a second that Yellowstone came up with spin-offs. Of course, the spin-offs will not replace the Yellowstone, not yet at least. Still, they can be great fillers while Yellowstone is gone, as they are also taking place in the same universe with a similar narrative and characters. What makes Yellowstone so unique? Great cinematography, dreamy landscapes, creative scenarios, morally great characters, heartwarming romances, or merciless violence. Well, we know that it is the combination of all of these elements that make Yellowstone what it is. Thankfully, its spin-off series 1883 also carries similar qualities. It would be better to categorize the show like a prequel as it takes place in the 19th century United States. Naturally, the central element of the show is to survive in the Wild West against all the obstacles, which is not an easy task. 1883 follows the Duttons before Yellowstone Ranch was found. In this series, the Dutton family has freshly left Tennessee with the hope of forming a new life from the scratches. They are moving towards an unknown location, but we know that they will eventually end up in Montana. Still, the ambiguity of the journey adds to dangers of the road since they often get second thoughts on their decisions to make this journey in the first place. The fact that they had to move along with a group of migrant Germans who have no idea about surviving in the United States is yet another issue that the Duttons have to deal with. Overall, they are not having a good time during this journey, and as the audience, we cannot help but root for their survival. Episode 5 of Season 1, titled with Fangs of Freedom, was no different than its predecessors in terms of presenting the dangers of the road. It might even be harshest one when it comes to depicting reality. The episode started by showing the after effects of crossing the river. We already knew that crossing would be a turning point for the crew from the previous episode. At the end of the previous episode, we watched the shock of our main characters, as even Margaret, who is known for her coolness, was traumatized by the experience. Many people died on the journey and the tragedy was felt by everyone. Shay cried out loud after the dyings of the people whom he was responsible to protect. Apart from the dead, it turned out that the Germans collected all of their food in a single wagon, which sank in the river. Shay didn't understand why did they do such an absurd thing, since it meant risking all the food they have, which ended up in disaster. It turned out that once again, one of the Germans was stealing food from the others, and thus, to protect their food, they had to collect them all together. Of course, Shay and the others went to find this man and beat him up after making sure justice is served. They also kicked him and his family out of the group since he was posing a danger. Then we followed the romance of Ennis and Elsa, the entering duo that manages to fall in love and be occupied with it while the rest of the crew is struggling to even survive. At the beginning of the episode, Elsa told her mother that she kissed Ennis and is loving him. Margaret was surprisingly cool about the situation and took Elsa swimming to give her the talk. After the talk, one thing was clear. Margaret was way ahead of her time as a mother, and Elsa was determined to be intimate with Ennis. That night, Elsa and Ennis had sex. The next morning was a turbulent one for the young couple as Margaret got very angry with her daughter, letting her know that she wouldn't take care of her baby if she has one. James, on the other hand, beat up Ennis as he blamed Ennis for what had happened. Still, somehow, Ennis and Elsa convinced Elsa's parents that they will get married. At that point, we got relaxed and prepared ourselves to witness a cute country wedding. And yet, nothing has evolved as we hoped. Instead, the bandits raided the group to which James, Shay, and the others were already prepared against. However, this preparation didn't save Ennis from being killed off. Unfortunately, he got killed by one of the bandits brutally, at a highly unexpected moment. Elsa got shocked by the incident, as she couldn't believe happiness can fade away and be replaced by sorrow this easily. As reciprocity, she killed the bandit, but it wasn't enough for her sorrow to go away. In this way, she had to experience her first heartbreak in the most brutal way possible. In the end, the crew managed to preserve their goods from the bandits, but lost one of the beloved members of the group, as well as the lover of Elsa, to their brutal violence. Overall, we believe this episode was truly heart-wrenching and marked the real emergence of 1883 as a TV series. So far, the show prepared us for what to come next, and from this point on, we will watch the brutalities of the Wild West in its full form. What do you think about 1883? Do you think the show has the potential to overshadow Yellowstone? Which episode of the series so far was the best in your opinion? Are you excited to see what will the show present next? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.